Even though I would go out and run every day, I was never in touch enough with my own physical being to understand just how much tighter I was in my left quad, how much weaker I was on my left side. And it's only through the stretching and some of the hands-on stuff that I actually got to understand that. My name's Eddie Stern. I'm the North American champion in the 55 to 59 age group in the half Ironman. So this is from a season I was injured, couldn't run. There's an event called Aquabike, which is swim bike. And I finished 4th at Nationals and 4th at Worlds and 1st in that race. I'm 56, soon to be 57. And I run a large family business and real estate company. I started running in the running boom of the early 80s, when the New York Marathon was just beginning to become a big race. And I remember seeing Alberto Salazar win it a couple of times and Greta Vates win it. And I said to myself, I just got to learn how to do that. And I actually went to a school that had no track team. And, but the headmaster of my school, who was a terrific guy, was training to run the marathon. And so I trained with him. Endurance activities have always been just part of my life. I also participated in a very early triathlon. 1983, I think, was the first Mighty Hamptons Triathlon out on the east end of Long Island, which was held in a place called Noyac Bay. And so that's where they had the swim and where the bike started and the run ended. And it was this crazy new sport. I mean, it was crazier than the marathon. And I said, I got to try that. And I was a senior in high school, and I did. And I did pretty well at it. And end of the story is, today our home in Long Island, our summer home, is in Noyac Bay. And I've run that race a number of times and train on that course all the time. So it's just been a way of life for me. You know, look, you get older, your kids get older, you have more time. And so when I turned 45, my kids were now in high school and were spending more time with their friends. I decided to start racing again. And that's when I fell in love with endurance activities again. So I had the time, I had the inclination. I started off training for shorter events, and then, and I had some success. My favorite races are the Maccabi Games in Israel, and also they have a Pan American Maccabi Games every 4 years. This was in Mexico City. And they have this event called Maccabi Man. So I got medals for cycling, for half marathon, for swimming, and for overall Maccabi. I started getting some aches and pains. But the thing that really, you know, looking back, I didn't even realize it. I was snowboarding. So I'm pretty active in other stuff too. I love to hike, love to snowboard. And I was snowboarding and I had an accident and I tore my ACL. And so I put my running, you know, I had to stop running for a while, had to have an ACL replacement. And afterwards, I came back and had probably my best running season as a Masters athlete ever. I was probably age 47. But then I started getting a lot of aches. And I didn't even realize it was related to the ACL because suddenly I had a problem in my toe, like or plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis. And I was like, well, something's the matter with my foot. I had rehabbed my knee, but something was the matter with my foot. I didn't even link it. So I was racing on Zwift, and I did a running race on Zwift. I did a half marathon, and then I suffered this horrible plantar fasciitis. And I said to myself, I just got to talk to somebody about this. And Jim, I remember I had Jim's card from some running event. It said Concierge PT. So we spoke and I said, look, I need help, and this is like a persistent thing. This is something that's recurrent and chronic, and I just want to fix this. And so will you help me fix this? And he said, yes, I'll help you fix this, but you got to listen to me. And I said, and you got to do your homework. And I said, not a problem. I'll do it. And that was about a season and a half ago. And I fixed the plantar fasciitis. And one very big thing was the assessment.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So this side I could certainly see coming in more. And over time, that can create more stress back here in your knee and then down through here too.
Even though I would go out and run every day, I was never in touch enough with my own physical being to understand just how much tighter I was in my left quad, how much weaker I was on my left side. And it's only through the stretching and some of the hands-on stuff that I actually got to understand that. And the reason I had kept this card was because I'd spent so many times getting to geographically inconvenient PTs, waiting in waiting rooms. I just hadn't had a great experience. I'd been to some docs who recommended injections of cortisone, which I didn't want to do. I realized it was a strength and imbalance issue, a strength and tightness and imbalance issue. I think fixing that persistent weakness on my left side is going to make me a much better athlete. And just better, like all-around person to run around and chase my grandchildren when I'm lucky enough to have them. Treated a lot of my body like a rental car, where you don't have any choice. You own this car, and you got to take it in for a tune-up regularly. And the older you get, the more you really got to pay attention to, all the moving parts and make sure everything's in alignment and everything's working right. And if everything's working right, you'll get injured less, and you'll know what to do when you get injured. I would say if you feel good, you'll perform well. But the notion that you can go out and race with any kind of imbalance or any kind of biomechanical issue and do well, I think is specious. I think there are a lot of endurance athletes who you hear about maybe suffer their way through things, but that's not what it's about anyway. If you want to get the best out of yourself, and Jim helped me get the best out of myself, so.